Welcome to the App Showcase, where we review Microsoft-related apps primarily from the App Store. In support of our customers' need to do market research on apps such as these, SV MacPack started recording our review of these apps. We're a certified Veteran-Owned and HUBZone consulting firm supporting primarily the U.S. federal government. We hope these reviews help you as well. In this video, we're going to be reviewing the Quick Apps Q Calendar view from the Microsoft App Store. As always, I'll move fast, pointing out what I like and what would make me hesitate to recommend this app to my customers. My goal is to be as candid as I would be if just talking to my own team about this app. Hopefully the review helps you and perhaps even provides good feedback to the publisher of this app. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch to the Microsoft App Store page for this app. And we'll just cruise in really quick and take a look at what they say on the App Store. First thing I take a look at is I always start at the left-hand side. I notice they have no stars, no ratings, and loading the reviews, they have no reviews either. So we can't get anything from there. We'll move on down. This is $249 a month. I'm not sure if that's per user or per organization, but I'm assuming that's per user, so we'll have to find out. Or actually, you'll have to find out if you like it. Coming on down, you'll notice that it was updated in 2017. That's really recent. It looks like the tool was built for SharePoint 2016 and SharePoint Online. That's pretty good for all of us who are out there in that modern view. Talks about the ability to bring in multiple calendars. I'm really excited about that. I want to test that on functionality as well as ease of use. Rolling up multiple calendars is always a fun thing. And then here it just talks about enterprise deals. So enterprise deals, that's clearly telling me that it's $299 per user, which is fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, by the way, so it said 2016, but it looks like it works on 2013 as well. For those of you still on 2013, that's good. All right, so here's some pictures. I like how they do the pictures and they have the feature they're trying to point out. So here they're just showing that it's multiple lists. We're going to click on this one. This is pretty cool how it's really pointing out a lot of stuff. It's got a legend. It's got toolbars for activity. So we'll be able to see what that's like. Switch to various modes. It looks like you can go from day to week to work week, etc. And then view event data tooltips. Oh, and I believe when they say view the tooltips, you just hover and it shows you. So we'll see what that looks like. The next one is Q Calendar with filter. Oh, okay, so you can filter right in place. That'd be interesting. So it's got a couple of filters there, title and location. I'd be curious if we can add in like category, for example. So this looks good. And then the last one is, okay, so it's showing a different view. It was showing the different ones, and agenda shows you the meetings that are coming out. I'd be curious on that one. That's really handy. Let me scroll back on that. And let's go ahead and go to the app. Before I get started, I want to tell you I created four calendars. So Showcase, Showcase 2, Showcase 3, and then a sub-site below the site I'll work on. There's a sub-site calendar that I put a couple of items in. So we have 4 different calendars in the one site collection, and we'll see about rolling it up. Let's go ahead and load this page or this app. We'll do it together, and down here you can see that it's loaded. Quick Apps Q Calendar. I'll click on it. And they give us some good guidance here about how to get started. It's an app part, so we just need to go over there and get rolling. It's got a quick start guide. I like this back to home, so I'm curious on, it just takes you right back to the site collection. That's great. Now, that was really just a handy little thing they did. They didn't have to do it, but they did, and it made it great. Okay, so they say we need to add a web part. I'm going to add one to the page, or an app part, whatever it's called. Come on up here to insert. So web part, app part. Here it is, Quick Apps Calendar View. I'm just going to click Add. I'll zoom in as we start getting rolling. Okay, so for the first time you load it, it comes up with this warning that it's evaluation. This is a product you have to pay for, obviously, so I got a download version of it. That warning, I'm assuming, goes away when you pay for it, and that's fair. Here's About and Help. And before we build, let's go ahead and check these out. So About, when I click on it, that's great. It's a little pop-up window. It tells me the version. Please refer to the release notes. I thought we were on 1.4. We are. Right there is 1.4, but I just downloaded this app and put it on here. Where am I? Over here. I put this app on here, and it is showing 1.3, so that's interesting. But they got release notes. Release notes, I'm assuming, are taking me out to their site. Let's see what we got. I'm just going to scroll down and see if I can see. Okay, wow, they released in 2017. That's great. They might not have updated it. They couldn't have possibly put all this stuff in here, did they? If they did, that's an amazing release. Actually, this is release notes for everything they have. Let me get out of that and close it. Okay, so that was the About Us, and then the help. Let's go ahead and take a look at their help. The help, unfortunately, takes us back to their site. I don't like that. I wish it would stay here. So here it's just talking about the pages as you go forward. How to add the content. So they have a really sophisticated help. I'm not staying here for it, so I'm gonna go ahead and cancel out of that because we're trying to test how intuitive this is. So let's get to building the calendar. Now, to me, this calendar is supposed to roll things up. So let's go ahead and figure this out. Here, let's just put demo calendar. I'm assuming what that'll do is change the app part title that's up there. Page URL. I already tested this, and I will tell you it was confusing. I didn't understand what's the point of this. But really, you just click on the URL, copy it, paste it here, and now it looks like it's telling it where to put the app part. So I was a little confused about that. Viewed lists. So these are the lists they want to be able to add. I'm going to click on the edit button. So this is my site at this current level. So I'm going to choose those 3 calendars. And then we'll just leave those for a moment. We'll say OK. And then I'll hit save. So now the viewed list has 3 lists that can be displayed. If I hit this, oh, that's great. Little drop down shows me really quickly what the calendars are that I'm showing. So here it's saying begin and end date fields. Those are just pick a field you want. The typical in a calendar are start and end time, so that makes sense. And here, which field to display the name is title, obviously, in SharePoint. Without doing anything else, because I think we could go into the sub-menus, but let's just go ahead and hit save and see what happens. So it's just confirm your changes. Now it's working on loading the calendar. There you go. That's pretty nice. It changed my title for me at the top. Let me scroll up a little bit. It changed my calendar title right there. And then it brought in my calendars. And so let's go take a look at this. So here you have Senator Bob visiting. This one is Senator Jane or Representative Jane and then Paul. So Bob, Jane, and Paul. If I come back to the app, let me put this app where it belongs there. You see Bob. If you hover above it, it pops up. Oh, I really like that. All you have to do is hover to see it pop up with the information. That's very helpful. So those are our 3 calendars. They just rolled right in there very easily. The next thing I want to see is about how to add another calendar. One thing to notice is what do? But the minute you get on the calendar, over here on the right-hand side, you see that accordion menu pops up. That's really nice. So it's clean looking when you're not there, but if you get here and you want to do something, you can click. There's our 3 icons, and I'm going to click on the one that says settings, or that is settings. The gear icon is typical settings. All right, so now we're seeing the sub-menus are starting to pop up. The first menu, this primary content, is where we were at. I just want to add a list from lower down and see if we can find it. And that list was the sub-site where it just said sub-site for the events. So let's go ahead and see if we can't add that list in there. I'm going to say edit. We have our 3 items here. I'm going to say add a list. subsite URL. That's funny. So I have to come over here, grab this little guy. I'm assuming that's all it wants so that it can find it. I'm going to hit tab. I'm assuming it's loading. Oh, that's funny. So let's try this one. So all I did was put the URL in, search. Actually, I'm going to try to get rid of this just to see how intuitive it is and see if it just searches. You see how it says search subsite? Let's see if it goes down and searches it and finds it. Okay, this is cool. Look at this. So this is really a great app. I'm starting to like this a lot, where it's loading the lists on the top level, and then it came down and said it found a demo site here, and we also have a sub-site demo calendar, which is the one I wanted. I'm going to say OK. It added it now, and it shows you that the list URL is down below. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And I will hit save one more time to come out and just see what it looks like before we go back in and look some other stuff. Okay, it's loading. It's coming back up. And there you go. See, now it's got additional events in there. So here's subsite event test 1, subsite event test 2. That's good. One thing that would be nice as an enhancement is if it had the ability to actually add more fields than start and end. I'm curious on intuitiveness, what happens when I double click? Okay, so when I double click, I'm taken to the event, and if I hit close, that's good. So if I hit close, it took me back to the place I came from. Let's try that again on a different event. Oops, this one. It opened it. This time I want to edit it. What I'm trying to find out here is, let me just put a. What I'm trying to find out is whether it sends me back. Wow, that is a good app. That's a development team that actually thought about the user. It sent me down to a subsite. I edited the event, and then I came right back to the calendar. That's beautiful. I'm really impressed with that. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of things. So here we've got the date, the month, etc. You can choose to display the calendar right here. So we choose day, okay, week. This is all pretty intuitive, right? It's showing us what's there. Actually, what would be nice is if this top area would be sticky, because when you start scrolling down in the week, you lose your dates. But that's just me being picky. This is a great app. Don't get me wrong. I really like the app, but having it do more is just my suggestion. So work week, we got month we were looking at, agenda. Okay, agenda lets me see the events going out. Looks like maybe it has a threshold though, because it only goes out to the 19th. So what is that? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that's 7 days. It only goes out. The agenda looks like it goes out 7 days, which is fine. I wonder if that's configurable. And then the timeline. Okay, so the timeline's really just a day activity. Not really sure what that is, but let's go back and see what other configuration it has, and then I'm going to wrap this up, because the whole purpose of these demos is to say whether I think it's good enough for the customer to download it for further evaluation. And at the moment, I'm just really impressed with this app. I'm impressed with how easy it is to use, but I'm also, this is funny, your things are getting ready. I would like him to get rid of all this marketing stuff, but that doesn't matter to me at the moment. Okay, so you can get into some serious filters here if you wanted. The ability to add filters. I don't know if you saw from the pictures. I'm not really going to be trying to add the filters in myself at the moment, but you could choose it so that you could add a filter for category, for example. I wonder how easy that is. Okay, so nothing defined. Yeah, you have to get a little more advanced, and I'm sure if I looked at the user guide, I could figure that out. And that's fine, because that's just requires a little bit more skill set and knowledge, but this calendar has already given a user what they need, and now it's getting into an administrator functionality. So let's just look at some of the other activity it has. Okay, so appearance. All right, so it has the ability to do new items right on the top, and maybe an alert. I'll click that one. we'll click the legend. So they had the legend. I'm not playing with that at the moment. If you want to see that yourself, you can kind of explore that. Okay, so it has the ability to get rid of some of these things like the work week and timeline. Set when your day starts. Oh, this is interesting. Allow delete. So I'm going to uncheck it, and theoretically there should not be an X now on the calendar item. Before there was. That's enough here. You can get into the color appearance. I just don't. I'm not good with colors, so I'm going to skip out for a moment. You can, but that's pretty cool how you can do that. So we already did this one, and let's look at the last one for advanced. So okay, so you can set up groups. So determining who can see your calendar, that's really handy. Let me go ahead and hit save on all of these changes I just made, and we'll point them out. So the calendar takes a second, it reloads. As it comes back up, the first thing I notice is that the new button and the alert me buttons are in here. Oh, this is nice. So you have the 4 calendars, so I can set up an alert. Let's go ahead and click on one of them and see what happens. Okay, so when I clicked on alert, it's just setting up an alert for me. And I'm not teaching you about alerts, but let me see if I hit OK. Are you taking me back to the calendar? Oh, wow, these guys are phenomenal. This is just so great. I really like how this development team thought about all the user experiences and kept bringing them back. Okay, and then we have new. If you click on new, oh, this is cool. Okay, so you can choose whether you want to add an event in each one of those 4 calendars that we have showing. Sorry if it's not zoomed in there. And then if I click on event, what happens? Okay, so it took me right to the actual event. Let me test this out. I'm going to leave everything else the way it is. Hit save. And again, it took me back. That's really great. I really like that. I turned off timeline. That's interesting. Timeline is still there. And I turned off work week. So I'm not sure why those 2 guys are still showing. Yeah, I don't know why they're still showing. And then the last thing I did was I turned off delete. And so you notice, well, if you remember, there was an X on each one of these that when you hover, you could click on it and delete the item. And now you cannot. So let me see what happens when you delete. I'm just curious. Takes me a minute to find out where. Calendar. Allow delete. Yeah, see right here. Enable timeline view and enable work week. Those are both unchecked, so we should not be able to see them. But we'll go ahead and hit save and see what we got. I'm allowing delete. That's the last thing I just want to kind of show you. These people really did a good job. So now there's an X. When I click the X, are you sure you want to delete this event? Yes. Event's been deleted successfully. We're good to go on that. Let me come back to these guys' page because, I think as you can tell, as a recap, I'm recommending you download this app for a more thorough evaluation within your own organization. I hope you found this review useful as you evaluate various apps available to you and your organization. Please provide me feedback in the comments. Let me know how I can make the App Showcase channel and these reviews more useful to you. Feel free to even suggest apps we should review, and we'll work to get them on the schedule. Finally, if you found this review helpful, please share a note about it on one of the social media platforms. I'm your host, Neil McDonald with SV MacPack. I thank you for joining me today and hope you'll join again for other reviews.